Prayer is something I think a lot of new Christians have a hard time getting used to. You often hear of people wondering how they should pray, what they should say, or how they should address God. And what they don't understand is that prayer is way simpler than that. So I'd like us to break down exactly what prayer is and the most common ways it's used to hopefully help you as the listener to become more comfortable with it. Prayer is quite simply talking to God. That's really the bottom line. It's a conversation that takes place between you and God. Usually it's a one-sided conversation in the sense that you probably won't hear an audible voice speaking back to you. If you're wondering why that is, feel free to refer back to my podcast on reading the Bible. However, just because you're not hearing an audible voice doesn't mean that God still won't speak to you in other ways. He may put a thought in your head, bring a particular person to mind, make you feel a certain way, or do something entirely different from those things in order to convey a message to you. It's really different for every person because everyone communicates differently. So, how should you pray? What kind of things should you say? The answer to that is whatever you want. You don't have to talk a certain way or be in a particular place to talk with God. You just talk to him as you would any other person. You don't even have to speak out loud if you don't want to, although that is something I recommend because it makes it a lot easier to focus on what you're saying and not risk having your mind wander. Also, contrary to a lot of religious customs, you don't have to bow your head and close your eyes in order to pray. This is often done to help you focus and not get distracted, but it's by no means a requirement. So then what about the content of what you say? Well, that really depends on what's on your heart. You may ask God for something you need, thank him for something you have, ask him to take care of someone you care about, or confess a mistake you made in seeking forgiveness or strength to resolve the situation and do better next time. You can even complain to God about the things you hate or people that drive you crazy. It doesn't matter. Just like how you can have millions of conversations about 1,000 different things with the people around you, you can have any kind of conversation with God. And if you take the time to listen, you just may hear him say something back. Now, a couple of tips for people that have been praying for years and may need a few reminders. First of all, remember that it's not about how long you pray or with how much intensity you pray with. It's about the faith you bring with you into your prayers. Don't try to one-up another believer by praying longer or louder than they do. It doesn't make you more holy. Jesus didn't say that it takes 3 hours of shouting to move a mountain. It takes faith the size of a mustard seed. Now, if you have many things on your heart that you want to pray about, it's important to make as much time as you need to pray about those things. Don't skimp on it or say that you're too busy to take the time for it. If it's important enough to worry about, it's important enough to pray about. But also don't force yourself to keep praying for a certain amount of time in order to cross off some checklist for being a better person. One of the wonderful things about God is that he wants to have a real and personal relationship with us. And just like with any relationship, meaningful communication is key. We should treat prayer the same way we treat our conversations with any other person. Don't just mindlessly repeat things over and over. Don't do all the talking without taking time to listen. And do it regularly without it being something that's forced. If you want more information about anything I've said or have a question or comment for me about this or any other topic, remember that you can always email me at sermoninthepocket@gmail.com. And if you like what I'm doing and want to support this podcast, I also have a Patreon by the same title, Sermon in the Pocket. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and have a wonderful day.